Good morning to all of you, and welcome to the Metro East Unitarian Universalist Congregation, and a warm welcome to those watching the service remotely. This is an accepting religious community, and we are very glad you are here. Tell your family and friends about us. We welcome all with open hearts. I am Toni Manarino, and my pronouns are she, her. I am many times retired. A retired teacher and a parent to 3 incredibly awesome adults and 3 awesome grandchildren. That's why I'm usually light on my feet. The MEUUC is a small congregation located in Glen Carbon, Illinois, spiritually led by Eden Johnson, our ministerial fellow. We gratefully share sacred space with the Edwardsville Masonic Lodge. In the pulpit today is Reverend Marlene Bricker. Our mission is centered on love and drives us to examine and to live our values, such as interdependence, justice, equity, generosity, pluralism, and transformation. We are creating and nurturing an intentional community that values acceptance, social justice, and the embodiment of UU principles. Let's question together. I'm so glad you're here, whether in the sanctuary or online. We welcome everyone to this home of comfort, spirit, justice, and hope. We'll start with our prelude.
Pay attention to the trees. Pay attention to the river. Pay attention to the bees. Pay attention to the clouds. Pay attention to the weather. Pay attention to everything we do to the mother. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We are just borrowing it from our children. From our children. Pay attention to the hills. Pay attention to the water. Pay attention to the breeze. Pay attention to the dreams. Pay attention to the wisdom. To the sisters and brothers living close to the earth. Whatever befalls the earth befalls our sons and daughters. And what we do to the earth, we do to ourselves. We do to ourselves. So we better pay attention to the birds. Pay attention to the forest. Pay attention to the streams. Pay attention to the snow. Pay attention to the glaciers. To the frost line and coastline and coral beneath the sea. This we know, the earth does not belong to us. We belong to the earth. We belong to the earth. So we better pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention to the waves. Pay attention to the ocean. Pay attention to the reefs. attention.
If you haven't noticed, our theme today is pay attention. Okay, Ramona's going to help us with our chalice lighting. An important ritual in the Unitarian Universalist faith is the lighting of our chalice. On this before. Unitarian Universalists have many different interpretations of the flaming chalice, including the light of reason, the warmth of community, and the flame of hope. As an expression of leadership in the community, we've already selected someone to light our chalice. Thank you very much. If you are watching elsewhere and you have a chalice or a candle, please light it now as we all join in saying the unison words projected on the screen. We light this chalice today as a symbol of the flame of mindfulness and our dedication to a lifelong learning about ourselves and our world. May love center us always. I'd like to invite Reverend Marlene to say our opening prayer.
As we sit here with our UUA family, we need to remember that this is just for an hour. And then we go back out into the real world. May we be instilled with the strength and desire to practice our values, our principles, in all that we do, in each face that we look upon. May we be blessed with insight and love for our fellow man or woman, regardless of their viewpoint. And most of all, may we pay attention. I didn't see this, I promise, to the sky, the trees, the rain, every single blade of grass. Pay attention to our surroundings and the souls that surround us. Pay attention to choosing love over being right. These are the things that will create the world we want to see, a world of harmony, love, and peace. We are blessed. Amen, and blessed be.
Thank you. Joy will lead us, our accompanist, in hymn for number 41. No?
Oh, we just got it.
Oh, why do I forget that part all the time? I don't want you guys to get to know each other. That's what it is. Okay. I'd like you to turn to someone you don't know and say hello or welcome. Today's message aligns with our UU principles of transformation, which is constant, and interdependence, which is needed. We are a social humanity. The concept of paying attention requires us to attend to our presence and the present, and directs us to be calm and generous to ourselves and others in the face of challenges. Okay, are you ready for this little science? Harvard researchers show that about 47% of you are here right now. The other 53% are off in their minds somewhere else. As part of our weekly worship service, we take time for the expression of joys, concerns, or sorrows. Our church home is where we can each share the things that weigh down our souls or that fill us with joy. We share those things with others that surround us in good times and in turmoil. If you would like to recognize a joy, a sorrow, or a milestone, you can come forward and place a stone or several stones. We got a bunch of stones here in the water. Please come forward on my left. Choose a stone or two or three and place them in the water. Then proceed back to your seats to my right. Let us be in a spirit of prayer and meditation. We now have a story for all ages. It's called We Are All Wonders by R.J. Policio, or as we say in Italian, Policio.
Welcome to BV Story Time. Welcome to BV Story Time. Welcome to BV Story Time.
having a lot of tech difficulties, so sorry. Anyway, the core message of this book emphasizes choosing kindness when paying attention to others, to look past physical differences and see the wonder in everyone.
Welcome to Beefy Story Time. Do you want to read this book with me? Don't forget to click the subscribe button for more. We're All Wonders by R.J. Palacio. I know I'm not an ordinary kid. Sure, I do ordinary things. I ride a bike, I eat ice cream, I play ball. I just don't look ordinary. I don't look like other kids. My mom says I'm unique. She says I'm a wonder. My dog Daisy agrees. But some people don't see that I'm a wonder. All they see is how different I look. Sometimes they stare at me. They point or laugh. They even say mean things behind my back. But I can hear them. It hurts my feelings. It hurts Daisy's feelings too. When that happens, I put on my helmet. I put Daisy's helmet on too. And then we blast off. Up, 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 up through the clouds. Across the galaxy. All the way to Pluto. We say hello to old friends. From far away, the Earth looks so small. I can't see any people, but I know they're there. Billions of people. People of all different colors. People who walk and talk differently. People who look different, like me. The Earth is big enough for all kinds of people. I know it can't change the way I look, but maybe, just maybe, people can change the way they see. If they do, they'll see that I'm a wonder. And they'll see that they're wonders too. We're all wonders. Look with kindness, and you will always find wonder.
Let's sing the children out for religious education. As you turn, may you know. Our next hymn is Spirit of this Church.
Hands and
Okay, have you all driven somewhere and reached your point of destination and don't remember how you got there? Anybody familiar with Georgia O'Keeffe? She was brilliant. She painted flowers up close so that we could see every detail in the flowers that we usually don't see. We're going to talk a bit about time. It's a precious commodity. Let's not rush through it or wish it away. Savor the moments, even those of boredom. We can delight in tediousness. We can say, I'm glad I'm able to do the dishes. I'm glad I have the time to dust today. I am grateful I can hear the loud music from the garage band next door. All of these moments will pass, but being present and paying attention, changing our view about each moment, will lead to being grateful for all possibilities and circumstances, which lead to a deeper understanding of yourself. During his ministry, Jesus regularly called people to pay attention. He said, pay attention to what you hear. Consider the birds of the sky. But many people, including his disciples, struggled to truly pay attention. He said to them, do you have eyes and not see? Do you have ears and not hear? The Buddha noted that experience is driven by both attention and intention. Focusing on skillful mental qualities changes one's reality. Observe the observable without judgment or perception. In Judaism, paying attention is not just a mental exercise, but a spiritual obligation, often described as a service of the heart. It is conscious presence and directed attention and intention. The 100 daily blessings forces a person to stop and pay attention to mundane acts, from eating to watching a rainbow. Our message today is given by Reverend Marlene Bricker. Let's prove Harvard wrong by all of us paying attention. Thank you, Reverend Bricker.
Good morning. So my talk today is called Look Again. And I'm going to start with a quote. We are called to pay attention to our individual lives, to our delights and pains, and to understand and cherish ourselves. And that is from a worship web responsive reading designed for UUA congregations about paying attention, which is the topic of Soul Matters for this month. To give one's full attention is to look closely, to linger upon, to delve, to immerse oneself into something that at first seems other, but soon seems one with. And that's from Reverend David Seaburn, as shared in a UU newsletter on attention. And then this is my writing on it. Look again. I believe each of us comes into this world to create a story, or actually live a story. When I truly pay attention, I begin to see more than the surface. I begin to see how and why one is the way he or she is. Attention is how love shows itself, in listening without interrupting, in noticing what goes unsaid, in caring enough to stay present. It is also how we collectively protect one another. Paying attention can show me when I am in danger. It shows me when I need to look at myself again as well as others. I begin to look at the moments I might have missed. paying attention has become a spiritual practice. Also, choosing what I pay attention to. I try to choose things that will uplift my spirit and the spirit of others. Excuse me. Actions of attention that can assist people in feeling better about themselves. In Hebrew, pay attention is 2 words, and it's sim lev. And this is one of my favorite things. It means with heart. So when you say pay attention, you say in Hebrew, with heart. For me, this says everything. It has a much different meaning to me than simply pay attention. Listen with your heart. One of the things I love to do is write acronyms. And I did one for HERE. And it's a real simple one, how everyone assesses reality. And I like to look at words and see how you can change them. Like, for example, if you put T in front of here, H-E-R-E, it's there. So here and there are kind of the same thing. Well, if you take a T and add it to here, now it's heart. And so that's my motto. That is what paying attention means. Hear with heart. Right now, we're living in a very troubling time. We are seeing people not living with heart, not hearing with heart, not behaving with heart. So what do we do about it? So I have an interesting theory on it, and I'm not sure it's one you all are going to like, but I truly believe, and I'm curious to see how many of you do. How many of you believe in the collective conscience? Okay, do you all know what that is? That is that we get the results of what the collective universe thinks. You know, you've heard that. A butterfly flaps its wings here, and it affects something over there. That little video we saw about the earth we are part of the earth. We are part of this humanity. Okay, here's a question for you. How many of you out here voted for Donald Trump? Okay, yet, you're not going to like this either. We are all partially responsible for Donald Trump being in office. Yeah, we are. Why? Because we didn't pay attention. We didn't pay attention. You know, all kinds of things were happening under our nose. The state of Missouri is a perfect example. These Republican super PACs and the Koch brothers and all of these people, they would put packages together and go to the representatives, and the representatives would go to the state houses, and they would start putting in place these policies, and we didn't pay attention. The Democratic Party didn't pay attention to the Supreme Court. They didn't realize how important these courts are, and somehow everything flipped because people just looked at their stock portfolio. And if it was doing well, I love that president. He lowered my taxes. He did this. He did that. Oh, but he takes money from big corporations. Oh, well, that doesn't matter. Well, guess what? Now we live in a country that is run by the big corporations. You think you have the same power as Amazon? We don't. We don't. And we have come into a situation where not even our vote counts. In Missouri, I might as well not vote for president because it is so one-sided and it's winner take all. So whose fault is that? It's mine, it's yours, it's the people that vote this way, that way. It's the people that forget the principles to love one another, to look out for the highest good, not just my highest good. Just because my stocks are doing well and you're starving, no, that isn't okay. Just because you're brown, I mean, our son is engaged to a beautiful Thai woman. Well, guess what? Thailand is one of the 75 countries that can't come into this country. Now, if you're from Sweden or Norway, you're more than welcome. That's the way it is. Are we all not responsible? How many times have we sat and not paid attention where someone makes a joke about a gay person, a Jewish person, an Italian person, a handicapped person like the little boy with the one eye? How many times have we sat there silently and said nothing? Do you know what that means? That means we're telling these people it's okay. It's okay what you say. Because I'm not going to stand up for it. Why? I don't want to make any waves. I don't want to say anything that could be offensive. Well, we're at a time in the history of this country, in the history of this world, where we better start paying attention. Because in 1939, or the years prior to that, the Jews are a perfect example. And boy, I said this to a Jewish person in a Jewish temple one day, and she wouldn't even listen to the end of it. I said, we deserved Hitler. And that was it. I couldn't even finish. And I said, do you know why? Because we knew what was happening and we did nothing. And the Jews of Germany were so arrogant as to say, they won't bother me, I'm a professor. They won't bother me, I'm a doctor. They won't bother me, I own a big business. I'm rich, I'm powerful. Well, guess what? They did bother them. They took their factories, they took their artwork, they took everything, and then put them on trains, sent them to camps, and killed them. Oh, but if the ones could really work, they used them for free labor till they dropped dead. That's what happens when we stop paying attention. When we look, okay, so here we are right now. And, well, in my state, most of the votes went Republican. So does that mean that I shouldn't like my neighbors? I mean, they had Trump, what the heck is his name, Trump Vance signs up on their lawn. So I probably shouldn't like any of my neighbors? No. Because even if I don't like some of the choices people make, I can still respect and like the person. Because that isn't the whole person. And I keep asking myself this question: what happened to you to cause you to be like you are? Now, don't get me wrong. We all have the option to change. In fact, this is interesting because I'm doing a talk for a Unity church on Lent. Well, what does a Jewish woman know about Lent? It was not something that we studied when we went to Sunday school. So I started studying what Unity sees as Lent. And how many of you came out of the Christian faith? Anybody? Okay, so you know Lent, you gave up something, you gave up smoking, you gave up candy, you gave up whatever. Nothing like that. You know what the Unity Lent is? And it's so amazing. It's 40 days of changing your thought, getting rid of judgment, opening your hearts to others, releasing habits that no longer serve you. And I thought, isn't that just an absolutely beautiful practice for all of us? And I'm going to work on that for 40 days because I think it's beautiful. Because, see, the God of my understanding really doesn't care what I eat. You know, maybe yours does. Mine doesn't. And my God doesn't even care if I worship God, because if there is a God of our understanding, God doesn't need our worship. It's people that feel they need it, and some do and some don't. But what the universe cares about is how I treat you. and how I treat you, and how I treat you, and how I treat every individual, every animal, every tree. You know, people think that, I believe in Genesis, it says we were made stewards of the earth. And I remember one politician who was running said, that means we can do what we want. Like, oh, this was an interesting conversation. I have a cousin, and her husband is in fracking. And I remember saying, ooh, you know, and he went, oh, it's the safest thing ever. And I said, well, I don't understand how when you drill holes into the center of the earth that it's a real safe thing. And then, of course, Oklahoma started having earthquakes all over the place when fracking started. It doesn't mean we can destroy the earth. Stewards mean to take care of the earth. And you, my friends, each of us, is part of this earth. And our obligation is to care for the trees, for the ocean, for the grass, and for each other. And that is where our attention needs to focus. Because I'm sure you've all read that card. When they came for, you know, this person, I did nothing. When they came for that person, I did nothing. And on and on and on. And then they came for me, and there was no one left. And that's what I ask. I think as this season, you know, moves into spring, it's kind of a time of rebirth. And maybe it's time for all of us to really look at our values. I mean, these 7 principles of UUA are so powerful, and they look so easy. But in reality, it is really hard. And it's hard for me too. I mean, I know this is kind of a terrible thing. We went out with a couple last night. I've known her since junior high. She moved back to St. Louis. We had dinner with her and her husband. So I had no idea what their political views were. And as we're having dinner, I went, I have a question for you. Are you Trump fans? She goes, oh my God, no, you know, and I said, oh, you know, and I thought, now, isn't that prejudiced of me? Because if I like the people, it isn't up to me to judge. All I can do is stand up for what I believe is right. I do not believe it is right to put people in detention centers. I do not believe it is right to have thugs kill people in our streets. I believe that those things are not right. They don't align with my principles. Now, apparently, there are some people that feel it does. Then I have another question. How many of you believe that murder is okay? Anyone? Okay, well then, is war okay? I don't know. Is it? I mean, if we hadn't gotten into World War II, where would we be today? I mean, I don't know the answers. My son said something, and I thought it was so brilliant. He goes, Mom, if you know all the answers, you didn't ask enough questions. Because that's how we learn. We have to question ourselves. And it even says in Scripture, if you read it, you know, there's a time to be born, a time to die, and on and on. And it says there's a time to fight, and there's a time, you know, for peace. So maybe, just maybe, there are times that we do need to stand up and maybe fight. Because perhaps if the Jews had done it in Germany, there wouldn't have been 6 million of them killed. But they didn't. They just had no clue what was happening, and they just were herded and died. So I don't have the answers. I just have the questions. And it's up to each of us to find our place. For me to ask myself the question, how do I treat my fellow men and women? Do I make fun of people who have an issue? Do I act ugly to someone who disagrees with my point of view? As Emerson said, If two people have the same opinion, you don't need one of them. I think that's really pretty brilliant. And he also said, who you are speaks so loudly, I cannot hear a word you're saying. So we can say, I believe in these 7 principles. You know what? I don't like that person. I don't think they should be welcome back here. Then that isn't believing in the principles. Because that principle says, that first one says, everyone is worthy. And I am not the judge of who is worthy. Because I don't have that power. So that's my message for today, is can you increase how you pay attention? When you see someone who perhaps is handicapped, oh, I love this word. This is one of my favorites, invalid. I will never use that word because if you separate it, it says invalid. Never. And I make sure that I look at people who are handicapped, that I look them in the eye and say, how are you today? Have a wonderful day, because most of the time, people don't notice them. And I think that it's really sad, and I want to make sure that I do. Or paying attention at the grocery store to the person that checks us out. Think about it during COVID. Who was there every day? How did we get groceries? How many nurses and doctors died taking care of sick people? I mean, there are so many heroes in this universe. And my belief is that each of us is one. And all it takes is loving our fellow man as ourselves. It's not enough for me to have food. I need to make sure you have it too. So I want to end with my poem. Look again. What if you decided today that there is another way to look at life, to really see who you are, what you are, really be engaged with all the life around you, turning your head, seeing every view, talking to all, saying hello, smiling at all wherever you go. Listen to a friend in need. Listening to a stranger is a good deed. Paying attention is an ongoing art that requires each of us to do our part. Interacting with all humanity all the time, no particular reason or rhyme. Perhaps our words can heal a soul. Help a hurting person begin to feel whole. Paying attention shows that we care, never causing a person to feel that they are not there. Look again, what might it show? It will take us to places we would never know. Open your eyes. Feel the cries of our world, begging to be seen, to be noticed. You will glean so much joy just from connecting, never ever really expecting it, just organically sharing your true nature of caring. For me, I am going to be more aware, paying attention, showing I care. Thank you all.
Okay, who'd like to pass the basket around? Oh, we do? I'm so glad you're here, Abe. Oh, yeah.
Mine too.
you want to pass the basket, please? Thank you. As Brian passes the offering basket, I offer the gentle reminder that this community of faith is supported only by your giving. However, stewardship is more than just financial donations, but it is also about donating time and talent to help our church. If you can't write a check, please help our church survive and thrive by offering your time to help make coffee, bring snacks, serve as usher, serve on another committee, such as helping with worship on occasion. Please donate as you can with your time, talent, and treasure. All are needed for our church to prosper. You may also mail your financial gift to MEUUC at the address listed on the link on the screen, or you can give electronically through the Givelify link on the church's webpage. Give what you will and what you are able, for you are generous people. Please join me in our offering prayer. We have a few announcements. You can see our upcoming speakers. Reverend D. Evans on the 8th, Ben Lauder on the 15th, Donna Moody on the 22nd, and Jeff Scoblow on the 29th. Today we you set up, and we all break down. 3:08, no setup, no breakdown, woohoo! 3:15, no breakdown, 3:22, breakdown all, and 3:29, sit up and breakdown all. Mary has an announcement.
I want to share with you that longtime member Ginger McCall passed away February 27th. She joined the church in October of 1965 and was a very active person. She was church president. She did RE. She did everything in the church that was needed. And she was active in the church until the early 90s, I believe, probably soon after, around at least after that. Her body will be donated to St. Louis University Medical School, and there will be a celebration of life sometime later. Her daughter Libby is with us this morning.
Libby, thank you for joining us, and we offer you our condolences. That's a big loss. Okay, choir practice today at 11:20 to 12:20. If you wish to receive the weekly news flyer, monthly church newsletter, please fill out a visitor card found on the visitor table in the fellowship hall. There's also a blue card to fill out if you want a name tag made for you. There's a basket on the table to put the completed cards into. We need a new home by the end of this year. And we also need money, of course. New homes, money. Our goal is $85,000, pledged by the end of July. So far we have $36,470. We're almost halfway there. Pledge online or from the plate. Adult religious enrichment classes. Next Sunday, March 8th, will be our second adult religious enrichment class after service, 11:30 to 12:30, led by Jennifer Lewis, our religious education director, and our ministerial fellow, Eden Johnson. This session will be Origins. I'm hungry, orange. Origins of the Free Church. See the newsletter for more information. Okay, Anna Dees will meet for lunch on this Thursday at 11:30 at Castelli's Moonlight Restaurant in Alton, Illinois. RSVP is Sandy Shaner. And men's lunch group Thursday, March 12th at 11:30 at Shugo Spaghetteria in Edwardsville, and contact Paul Hebert. Anything else? Okay, we're going to extinguish our chalice. Okay, I'll do it. Okay, the light of truth and meaning. When I give myself with abandon to the little things around me, seeing them as beautiful presence in my world, I am given the antidote to fear and even at times despair by Liesl Graham. Liesl Graham also wrote this: may you find love enough to fill any holes. May you find healing enough to cover any wounds. May you find hope enough to keep your dreams alive. May everything that was taken from you return to you as joy. May all your failures grow into courage. May you find yourself brave enough to try again and again and again. May you find a soft place to rest where you take off everything that is not yours to carry. And may you always be found by the light, no matter where you are. We're going to sit in silence for a couple of minutes without doing or saying anything, without purpose, except just to be here. Notice any thoughts that appear and let them pass through. Pay attention to the experience of doing nothing. Notice how you feel. It is comfortable. Is it comfortable or uncomfortable? Take a deep breath. Okay, those of you that have time, join us for coffee. Thank you for being here, and may the rest of your day be wonderful. Thank you.